Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another parking lot reaction here in wintry Winnipeg. It's me, Rob Christensen from Jim and Rob Overanalyze Movies, and of course, that means my co-host here.
Bonjour.
Oh.
Bonjour.
Here, let me point the talking stick at you.
My name's Jim.
Say that again, sir.
Jim.
Anyway, Jim and I just saw Wakanda Forever. Jim, what did you think?
Yeah, pretty big. As I was saying, pretty operatic. Color, pageantry, spectacle. It's a big movie. It was quite a feast. I quite enjoyed it. I didn't know much about it going in purposefully. So I was surprised by virtually everything, and it was pretty good. It's pretty good.
I couldn't agree more. I love that word operatic. You're absolutely right. It had a quality. How are we putting? We just got out of. Well, we did just get out of the theater. The emojis. There's no shrug, no flat smile. It's all just big. It's angry face or smiley face, nothing in between. What did you think of what did you say just before we made our order for our Timbits, etc.? We are at the Tim Hortons parking lot. What did you say about Letitia?
Well, yeah, I mean, I sort of wondered if she could carry a movie on her own, and she does, and it is an ensemble cast. The gangs, except for one notable exception, is all back together. But I was just wondering if she could actually carry the whole thing on her shoulders, and she kind of does, but also with the help of the rest of the cast there, of course. But as a sort of a lead character, no spoilers, but she does a fantastic job, I thought.
Oh, and I would say even she ties the group together. Yeah, she had a great sporting cast, but she really does bring them all together. Yeah. And I think the story, the way they chose to tell it, I mean, some hints of the first Black Panther in its, as you say, operatic. And when you get operatic, you also get a lot of melodrama. It is about a royal family, family relations, etc. But I was super impressed with this. It was a great. And how did you think it handled T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman?
The first sign about it, well, it sort of is the first scene, and they sort of talk about his fate, and then it goes into that Marvel opening where they have all the clips, the standard Marvel opening that they have for everything with the MARVEL, and it's mostly purple, and it's all Chadwick Boseman, and you could hear a pin drop in the theater.
Yeah.
The theater was completely silent. So that's the first indication. They don't really go back to that they talk about it, but they don't visually go back to that sort of until more towards the end. But that first thing, like the people were the theater for their first night opening was, I thought, pretty respectful. Like there's the respect in the movie theater there for that. Like totally silent. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was afraid to make a noise. Like you don't want to move even, or let out a sneeze or have your phone go off.
You definitely don't want to be the guy with the cell phone that goes off during that moment.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But
how did you think they handled the? Well, actually, you know what? I'll just say it. I thought they handled that passing of the torch, let's say, really well. Actually,
Yeah.
That was another thing. It was not so much Letitia Wright's performance I was worried about. It was just, how are they going to handle that? Like, Chadwick Boseman did such a great job of being the Black Panther. Like, I mean, it was funny actually. You had asked Jim before, how many movies has he actually been in? And you know what, folks? Like, I mean, he's really only had one. he was an important character in Civil War, and he certainly had moments in Infinity War and the Infinity War Endgame. But I don't know. Like, what would you say? Like, I mean, he was such a big presence that they were able to handle it the way they did.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I mean, there's all kinds of pitfalls. There's all kinds of little traps there. And, do you get too sentimental? Are you maybe not being sort of sentimental enough? Or is it too respectful or what have you? Like, there's a lot of stuff there. And I was really worried that they could pull it off. But they did, yeah. It was I thought, nods to him. And also in a thematic way, she has to make, various characters have to make choices, and they make choices based on what they think their ancestors or the people that have gone before them think. And those characters, from where they are now, play a role still. And it was interesting to see that incorporated as part of it. That's a pretty big deal especially towards the end. Again, want to watch out for the spoilers, but there's some juggling that they have to do between all the people that they've known for good and for bad,
and how they felt it. You felt the presence of those characters, and they're not on screen. Mm-hmm. And some of them, it's more that theme that they keep, that touchstone, I'd say, in the film. One more thing I think I want to add before we wrap it up, Jim, is I think we need, I suspect it's out there, and if it's out there, comment. But Jim, I think what we need is a new metric, a Bechdel test squared or something. There were so many women of color talking to each other, like, it was just great to watch. And it's like our social nutrition checklist doesn't have that. We do have the Isla test.
Yes.
But and we have the Bechdel test, but I think we need another one for this to acknowledge people of color talking to each other without worrying about the white guy.
Except for cops, I think there's two white characters with speaking parts in this, and it's I didn't miss it. It's sort of it's something we're not used to. I don't think you can go very. It's not too long ago that a lot of these movies would have one black dude in it, and that's it. And this is the polar opposite of that. So. Yeah. So, folks, if you've got a suggestion for what we could call that test, or you know what the test is actually, the metric, because we're going to fold that. We're going to start talking about that in our social nutrition checklist. I guess the last, but certainly not least, would you recommend this film to others? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's especially if you're into that, follow the story. Yeah, it's great. It's quite interesting. And again, where's this going? I had no idea right until the end. So.
Yeah, it's solid. It gives you some narrative surprises, but nothing where you're going, well, that doesn't make any sense. And it's nice to see. You know what? Letitia Wright, she pulled everyone together, and I really enjoy that. All right.
I should also say it's the weirdest Avatar movie ever. Holy cow! They're all Mexican now. I don't know.
You know what? The villains. We didn't even talk about the villains, which were solid.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Well, maybe. Folks, I'm not promising this, but maybe Jim and I will end up doing a deep dive, and we'll circle back on that one. But in the meantime, what are we doing again this Sunday, Jim?
Passchendaele, Paul Gross.
Another workmanlike performance.
Yeah.
That's right, folks. Passchendaele this Sunday, November 12th, 13th, 13th at 9:45 p.m. Central Standard Time, because we have fallen back here in Canada. And yeah, we'll see you then.
Wakanda forever.